The Discovery Science Place has been igniting curiosity in young minds through fun and hands-on exploration for the last 25 years. They've got a lot of events in store for East Texans this month, from their annual Maker Fair to celebrating their big birthday, and everyone is invited. Joining us this morning to tell us more about everything the Discovery Science Place has going on is Executive Director Chris Razier. Good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, Jen.
So what is going on for the 25th anniversary? You have a birthday celebration, and there's some things that people could bring.
Absolutely. So we are celebrating the 25th anniversary or birthday of the museum, and we're going to do that on April 7th. So not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. We're going to offer free admission to the community. So basically, we're celebrating our birthday by giving a gift out to the community. And for that free admission, we're simply asking that adults that come bring a food item for the East Texas Food Bank. So that can be a jar of peanut butter or a can of soup, but if every adult that comes and brings their kiddos with them, if they would bring a food item for the East Texas Food Bank, that's going to be admission for that day, April 7th. Other than that, it's completely free. We're going to have lots of hands-on science activities. We're going to have the face painter there. We'll have balloons, of course. We'll have our mobile STEM lab, which is our mobile science lab out in the parking lot. We'll have snow cones for sale, all the usual birthday fare.
Wow, that's fantastic. So what are some of the other events that you guys have going on in the month of April?
So we got a lot of big events coming up going into the summer because it is our 25th anniversary. In addition to this April 7th event, the free birthday event, we have Maker Fair coming up April 28th. This is our 6th annual Tyler Maker Fair. We host that every year. It's a huge one-day family-friendly event. It takes over the entire museum, the parking lot, the street next to us. And if folks have never been to Maker Fair, it's a little bit hard to describe, but it's kind of like a festival for invention and creativity. You'll find everything there, from robots and drones to wood turners and blacksmiths and things of that nature. So the kids will have an excellent opportunity, actually anyone, it's great for 2 to 92, will have an excellent opportunity to do some hands-on activities and learn about things that people do just for fun and enjoyment. They just come out and show what they do.
Wow, I bet. You know, that's something that is pretty interesting about the center, is the fact that it's through fun and interactive activities they're learning about science. Talk to me about the importance of that.
Absolutely. Our mission is igniting curiosity in young minds, and we do that through hands-on, fun hands-on activities. So virtually everything there at the museum is meant to be touched, played with, moved around, and so we try to make sure that that occurs at almost all of our events. So we really believe that the way to engage the kids is to get their minds and their hands working together. So when they're doing some activity or they're doing some sort of experiment, they're much more likely to remember that and recall that later on in the classroom or later on in life when that information comes back to them.
All right. Now, we were there, all of us here on the morning show. We helped out during spring break. We did a little bit of Alka-Seltzer rockets, cloud in a bottle. This is also a little experiment that you were going to show us today that kind of has that fun, but learning science at the same time, right?
So most people have kind of heard about this experiment or maybe seen this done before, and it has to do with the helium in the balloons and why the helium is lighter than air. And most people have seen or understand that if you use the helium, you can change your voice.
Right, yeah.
So we'll give that a quick try real quick and see, and then we'll kind of explain why that happens or how that works. I'm going to get you to help me out here.
Okay.
So if you'll just cut between my fingers. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to suck in the helium into my lungs, and instead of expelling just the normal air around us, I'll be expelling the helium when I talk. We'll see if this is enough helium left in my balloons here to actually do what we need to do.
Okay. Oh.
So the question is, why does helium affect your voice?
Okay. You doing all right, Chris?
I'm good.
Okay.
So the question is, why does helium cause that to happen? Why does helium cause your voice to sound like a little chipmunk? And the reason is that the helium, if you look on the periodic table of elements, or you remember the periodic table of elements from high school, that helium is much less dense than most of what's in the air around us. Most of the air around us is made up of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, a few other elements. The helium in these balloons is much less dense, and so when the air in your vocal cords is traveling through it, or the sound waves in your vocal cords is traveling through it, it affects that tone.
Okay.
So there are actually gases that are opposite of this, that you could suck in and your voice would be extremely lower as well.
Right, so the opposite effect there.
Exactly, and it just has to do with the density of the gas. This is another quick little experiment. Again, it's one of those things that I would caution that any kiddos, anytime you're doing an experiment, you should do that with mom and dad or with a science teacher or something like that, because effectively you're holding your breath when you pull that helium in because you're not getting the oxygen that you need. But it's a relatively safe experiment as long as it's done with mom and dad.
Right, safety is always very important. Well, thank you so much for coming on this morning. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.